Big breaking royal news. Another TV tell-all from Prince Harry with ITV. Look, he's sitting down yet again pretending that he is the victim. This is with Rebecca Barry from ITV. The program is also going to feature Hugh Grant.
Here we go again. Prince Harry is back on our screens, giving yet another interview. This time, he's sitting down with ITV's Rebecca Barry, alongside Hugh Grant and Charlotte Church, to rehash the phone hacking scandals from over a decade ago. But let's be honest here. Why is this even happening now? Is this a quest for justice, or just another PR move in the Sussex media playbook? Because, let's face it, for a couple who supposedly wanted privacy, Harry and Meghan sure do love the spotlight. From Oprah to Netflix to Spotify, they squeeze every ounce of mileage from their truth.
And Charlotte Church, and it's all about phone hacking, Lady C. But the issue is, this is something that happened well over 10 years ago. It's already been dealt with criminally, and I don't think this is going to curry favour with the public and get Prince Harry out of what's now being described even by the Guardian newspaper, Lady C, as his flop era. What do you make of it?
Oh dear. Well, it's opportunistic. It is an attempt to muzzle people. Remember, he's not in favour of freedom of speech, nor is Hugh Grant, nor is Hattoff, nor is David Sherborne. Of course, doubtless, if David Sherborne gets freedom of speech curtailed, he will then jump on the bandwagon of having the rules reversed so that he can make some more money for himself. I think it's a very cynical and opportunistic exercise. And the fact of the matter is, all of this was done and dusted years ago. And why is it being brought up again? It's only being brought up again because they are crass opportunists, and they are using something to really beat a dead horse. But they're hoping that the horse, if it's beaten enough, will revive and jump back into life. But let's remember, Harry has also been called out by Mr. Justice Fancourt for suppressing evidence. And this is a very serious matter because he signed a statement of truth that was clearly untrue. And his lawyers had to have known that it is their responsibility, not his, their responsibility to provide the evidence and to make sure that their client does. When I was suing the Mirror, my lawyers came down here and they spent from early in the morning till late at night going through my phones, my emails, and, anything that comes up is supposed to be, as a part of the discovery process, is supposed to be handed over. So, Harry could actually end up, I don't think he will, but there is a potential, if he were an ordinary person, to end up in very serious trouble.
Well, the thing is, what has emerged in court is really worrying. And obviously these are claims being made by the lawyers operating on behalf of News Group newspapers, which publish The Sun. But remember, Harry's lawyer, Sherborne, who you refer to, has actually had to admit to some of it, Lady C. And what we know as a fact, okay, this is what we know as a fact. I think there's probably much more of a cover-up going on, but I've got to be careful about that. But what we know as an absolute proven fact is that Harry deleted all of the messages between him and the ghostwriter of Spare, even though the legal action had already been launched at that time, Lady C, and he had been told to preserve all of the evidence. Then there are these 2 hard drives containing evidence, and Harry tells the court, they're missing, we don't know where they are, they've been lost. All of a sudden, they're discovered, Lady C. And where are they discovered? One in his Montecito mansion, the second in his attorney's office in California. So to me, something stinks about all of this.
So where does all of this leave the Sussexes? Still wealthy, still globally recognized, but more isolated than ever. Public support is fading. Their media empire, Netflix, Spotify, documentaries, books, is looking more like a soap opera stuck on rerun.
Well, not only that, Dan, the fact of the matter is any writer does not throw away his or her
No.
notes. So J.R. Moringer would have everything.
And that's the writer
Penguin
of Spare, by
Random
the way.
House
That's the
would also.
ghostwriter of Spare.
Sorry? Yeah, yeah. And Penguin Random House would have to have it and have to keep it in case there was going to be litigation down the line. So these things were never, ever, it was a try on by Harry. And the fact of the matter is that his lawyers allowed it to happen. And they are therefore complicit as well. The whole thing sinks to high heaven. It shows a contempt for the legal process, for the rights of their opponents, and it shows a degree of arrogance that borders on the insane.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. But Lady C, I also want to talk about ITV within all of this, because what has happened to that broadcaster? I mean, you know, Lady C, I worked for them for 10 years. I know you've done a lot of work with them in the past. You've appeared on some of their biggest programming. But Lady C, they are now just a propaganda vehicle for the Sussexes. They have thrown out any sense of journalistic integrity. All of these interviews are stitched up with the deals done by Tom Bradby, who is the main presenter of ITV News. That's after Prince William ended his friendship with him because it was so obvious that he was siding with Harry and Meghan and often reporting untruths just to please Harry and Meghan. And I bet Rebecca Barry, look, we haven't seen the interview yet. It airs on July the 25th on ITV, and I will admit if I'm wrong. But I bet Rebecca Barry hasn't asked Prince Harry about the missing evidence, for example. So what happened to ITV? Why have they become propagandists for Prince Harry and Meghan?
3 words: Dame Caroline McCall.
And she's the chief executive, right?
She's the chief executive, and she is so woke that she obviously has never closed her eyes, much less gone to sleep. And I actually crossed swords with her over an interview that I became a victim of, let's put it that way, that ended up in me having to sue the newspapers about. And they're very lucky that, they sort of just wriggled their way out of it. And I mean, she could have behaved honorably, and she chose to behave, in my opinion, dishonorably. The woman is extremely woke, and, she will curry favor wherever it leads, as long as it is gauche. She is gauche in every way. And to those of you who don't speak French, gauche in French is left. So she's very left. And
Lady C, we also have to remind everyone that she has a direct personal relationship with Meghan, because when Piers Morgan left ITV after he accused Meghan of lying during the Oprah Winfrey interview, which, by the way, is a proven fact, it was Meghan who had personally emailed Caroline McCall. Caroline McCall demanded that Piers Morgan go on air to apologise. He refused and quit instead. So we know there are personal back-channel communications going on between Meghan and Caroline McCall. And certainly in my case, when I was working on the Lorraine show, there was a lot of pressure being put on by Tom Bradby to try and shut me up and stop me talking about Meghan too.
Well, yes, because, of course, Tom Bradby has made a lot of money and got himself very popular. And I think it's really rather sad, because Tom Bradby is actually, aside from this one error of judgment, he's actually a good journalist. Well, he's a good interviewer. Let's put it that way. He's personable and he's presentable. But, let's see what happens, Dan, because the fact of the matter is that, I think they are on the losing side of history and of the developing story, because every day Harry and Meghan lose more supporters. So Tom Bradby is making himself a lot of money. He's getting himself a very enviable placement in ITV, but he is ultimately, I think, throwing away his career because he
Yep.
is going to end up being associated with Flotsam and Jetsam.
Even Netflix, according to Lady C, is holding on to them purely because of internal backing from exec Ted Sarandos. But even that can't last forever. As Lady C puts it bluntly, they are a valueless commodity hanging on by the skin of their teeth.
And what has he lost, Lady C? He has lost a relationship with the future King of England, who, by the way, granted Tom Bradby the only interview he's ever given with Catherine, the Princess of Wales, about their relationship. It was their engagement interview. And he has walked away from that relationship. And I think it says a lot about Tom Bradby, actually, because William expected loyalty, and I think William deserved a degree of loyalty.
But I don't actually think, Dan, that Tom Bradby walked away from the relationship. My understanding is that William axed him quicker than you could say, on the grounds of disloyalty and
Yeah,
treachery. So, I think Tom Bradby made a choice,
good point.
and he thought he was making a popular choice, and I think he thought he was choosing wisely. I don't think he's chosen wisely for the long term. I think honesty, decency, and the truth are always preferable to mealy-mouthed sucking up. And one only needs to see the way previous propagandists have gone to know that they flourish for a while, their lies are swallowed by their followers, and then they crash and burn.
Totally.
Look at Derby.
Totally. And I mean, Lady C, it's not like things are going well for Harry on any level. I want to show you a couple of headlines that have been published in the past couple of days. The Spectator first ran this article saying, "Has America had enough of Prince Harry?" And then The Guardian. This was the most shocking because The Guardian is the left-wing newspaper that has supported Harry and Meghan through everything. And they are now saying that Harry and Meghan are in their flop era. And this decision, Lady C, for Harry to accept the Pat Tillman Award at the ESPYs, which is ESPN's big awards, has gone down like a cup of old sick. And cup of old cold sick. And when you think that Pat Tillman's mother herself has said that Harry shouldn't accept this award, when you think that Lord West has said that Prince Harry shouldn't accept this award, surely he must not accept this award.
Well, surely maybe he shouldn't, but I would be very surprised if he doesn't. It's some people are shameless. And I hate to say it, but Harry has developed a shamelessness that he never used to possess. But then he's supped with the devil with a very short spoon, and he's learned the art of shamelessness from her.
So you think he'll accept it?
I mean, she has absolutely no shame whatsoever.
No, we know that. We do know that, don't we? And I mean, what's going on with her filming? Is she still pursuing this Netflix show, from what we understand?
Dan, have you not noticed there are 4, 5, and 6 stories a day, every single day, emanating from them, and have been for some time now. And it's very difficult to actually know what to rely upon until it actually happens. I mean, Meghan is not a chef. Meghan is not a gardener. Incidentally, by the way, speaking about that, somebody who lives in Montecito told me strawberries can't and don't grow in Montecito.
So it really is scam jam.
Exactly. Somebody told me. They said strawberries can't and don't grow in Montecito. And this is from
Oh
somebody
my
who lived
God.
in Montecito.
That is
But
hilarious.
whether the reality, whether or not she has filmed anything, who's going to watch it? Who cares? People like to look at something by someone whom they like. If they don't like the person, they don't really want to watch anything except their demise. Then they're happy to watch. But people don't want to be instructed or involved with or entertained by somebody who's unlikable. And Meghan has proven herself to be extremely unlikable on both sides of the Atlantic. I mean, when The Guardian is telling you, and so many left-wing entities in the United States have started to put the boot in, not always consistently, but they have been putting the boot in, So, for instance, you have one day a very positive story about them, then another day a negative story in the morning and a positive one in the afternoon. But they are a busted flush. My understanding is that Netflix has been desperate to try to retrieve some of its investment and save some of its face. Ted Sarandos, I have been told, is the one who has been preventing Meghan and Harry from being booted out altogether. And of course, he has the influence and he has the power as long as he occupies the position he does.
Once the goodwill runs dry and the brand deals stop, what's left? No royal titles, no public support, and no fresh story to tell. Lady Colin Campbell might be divisive, but she's hitting a nerve. Her commentary, whether you agree with it or not, taps into a broader public frustration, the endless Sussex soap opera. Harry and Meghan have become known not for what they stand for, but for what they keep repeating. At some point, that well runs dry. And right now, it's running dry fast. So what do you think? Has the public finally seen through the glitz and PR spin? Are Harry and Meghan in their flop era, as even their former allies are now suggesting? Or is this just another chapter in their relentless quest for relevance? Let's hear it in the comments, and stay tuned. Because if there's one thing we've learned, it's this. With the Sussexes, the drama never really ends.